Greetings once again. It's Tuesday, and this is the Christian Entrepreneur Network. This is TCEN Global, and we're the sponsor of the Jesus Entrepreneur. 12 to 20 minutes of some thoughts, maybe some prayers, maybe some power principles, some ideas that can help change your life and help your business to survive and thrive and perhaps make a mark in the world. A good mark, that is. The Jesus Entrepreneur, I'm absolutely convinced that one of the qualities about Jesus that gave him not only his power but his influence, I think he must have had an amazing smile. An amazing smile. I just believe that. It was penetrating. It was mystifying. It was scary. It was loving. It was everything. And one of the things people wanted to see is they wanted to see him smile. How do you make Jesus smile? Well, that's a good question. Well, today I'd like to talk a little bit about that in the framework of one of the principles that we're putting forward in the book Fully Alive. And I simply want to call this, and I do it with a smile, what can you learn from Bob Dylan and Bugs Bunny about building your business, your enterprise, Christian entrepreneur? Bugs Bunny and Bob Dylan. What can you learn? Join me. We'll talk about that. I'm Stan Houston. Join me. We're on the air, and we're right now. Well, we're back, and thank you for taking a little bit of time. Hopefully, I've done a little bit of marketing, Some of you don't want to listen to this thing, but you saw the title, and then you heard about the Jesus Smile, and you said, what? Bob Dylan? Bugs Bunny? What is this guy all about? Well, you know what I'm doing. I'm trying to kind of reel you in and see if I can get you for 3 minutes, and then 5 minutes, and then maybe you'll get involved and engaged, and you might listen to the end. Do you realize how few books people finish? How few stories people actually go to the whole end? How many people watch the whole TV program? Or how many people actually see the entire movie? Well, the movies are a little bit better, but most people don't hang around. And so you've got to keep putting things in front of them that keep them engaged. We'll teach you a little bit more about that when I teach you how to be a radio announcer and how, as we say, you're going for 2, you're going for 3, you're going for 5, and if you're really good, you might even get hang 10. Those are some of the tricks of the trade of learning how to be a professional radio communicator, and by the way, you're going to have to learn how to do that, or somebody in your organization is, because the medium that is in front of you right now, independent Internet on-demand radio, sometimes called podcasting, personal on-demand broadcasting, is going to be one of the things that you're going to have to learn how to do if you want to have your marketplace message get out in the modern media. Just that is the case. And you'll have to learn how, or you'll have to learn how to get engaged with that. And as we open up TCEN Global, one of the 7 big services we have, we're going to help you build a YouTube channel. Very, very vital. We're going to help you build an incredible way to do public relations, press release, advertising, how you can do that. We're going to teach you how to do podcasting. The 7 things you need to consider to survive and thrive in the modern media age, in the ice age, the internet connected experience economy. We're going to teach you. So you hang tight and you listen to us from time to time. If you want some help right now, if there's something about your business, I've been at this for many years and I've seen most things, and there's a good chance that whatever you're trying to get done, teaching or training or consulting or counseling, you need a business performance coach for your business, and particularly one that might actually bring, in some respects, the things that will honor the Lord Jesus into the program, into the environment. And I don't embarrass anybody, but I don't hide from anybody either. It's good stuff, and I'll be glad to try and help you and your business make it work. You can go and get me at radioedge77@gmail.com. radioedge77@gmail.com, and say, Stan, I could use some help. Can you help me? If you even want to, I'll give you the magic phone number. It sits right there. It is that little machine. I'm afraid it's with me too often, but 520-664-7002, United States of America, 520-664-7002. Give me a call. I'll try to answer it then. If not, I promise I'll get back to you if you want me to. Take care. That's what we want to do. Now, how do you take care of business? Taking care. Remember that song? Okay, you should. Take care of business. How do you take care of business? Well, here is principle number 1. If you're a Christian entrepreneur, here is the prime directive. And it's based on a story. I grew up in Iowa and in North Dakota and in Indiana, but in my young adulthood, I finally fell into Minnesota. That's right. And now you know why I like to live a lot in Arizona, because it's not like Minnesota most of the time. And so in my elder times, I like to be where it's a little bit warmer. The only problem is today it's about 100 degrees warm, and that gets to be a little much sometimes, but it's endurable. So, but in Minnesota, there was a guy who was raised in a little town called Hibbing, Minnesota. He was kind of a weird, geeky kid. In fact, one of my good friends actually grew up with him and went to high school with him. And his dad owned a local little hardware store, and it was Zimmerman's Hardware Store. And the young man's name was Bobby Zimmerman. And he was a rocker. And he left Hibbing, Minnesota, because it wasn't too cool to be what he was in the Iron Range of Hibbing, Minnesota. Landed up doing his thing in New York City and around, and he changed his name from Bobby Zimmerman to Bob Dylan. And of course, you know the rest of the story. Bob Dylan. You may not like his music. I can't say that I really do. But as an artist and as a performer, he represents the fundamental fact of an entrepreneurial life. If you are a performer, you have to stand out in front of an audience. And as I say, it's like going down to New Orleans and being there on the street, being there where the performers stand there and they play their due, they play their gig, they do their deal, and they have a hat out there, and they're hoping that you'll put money in their hat. And if people don't like what you do, they ignore you. And if they do like what you do, they may put money in your hat, and everybody is playing for tips. You don't get paid for showing up. You don't get paid for performing. You get paid for pleasing the audience. And if you don't please the audience, it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how nice you are, how cute you are, you don't get paid. That's the world of the entrepreneur. No job security, no benefits, no health care insurance, none of that stuff. You have to show up every day, and you have to put on a good show every day, and you're hoping that it's good enough that you got a little bit of money in the hat, and that hopefully you'll get enough for tomorrow. So the metaphor of the entrepreneur is a performer, just like Bobby Zimmerman, Bob Dylan, grew up being. Well, of course, he soon graduated from putting the hat out, and he made it big time and continued. Now, during this time, he went through a lot of incarnations. There were different parts of the Bob Dylan. And at one time, he was very, very much connected to Jesus. Even though he was not raised in the Christian tradition at all, he was fascinated. And so he said he's going to follow Jesus. Now, I don't know where he is now, but many of you know where I'm going with this, because in one of his albums, he made a classic song title. And some of you are smiling right now because you know where I'm going. Because what he said was, you got to serve somebody. You have to. No choice. And if you say, I'm not serving anybody, he would say, you're serving somebody. You have to. Everybody's serving somebody. And everybody's serving something. So you better choose wisely what you're going to serve and who you're going to serve, because you're serving. That's the principle. Number one, being an entrepreneur is not about making a lot of money. It's not. It's about serving somebody. You got to serve somebody. My daughter wrote a book a number of years ago, which we'll talk about, and she went from the ages where she said, I'm cute and I'm clever and all these things, and she really was. And she said, none of that mattered. When I got to New York City, they wanted to know how useful I was. Not how beautiful I was, not how cute I was. They wanted to know, are you useful? And so she wrote a book, How to Be Useful. Because if you want to be successful, you got to be useful. Her name is Megan, by the way, Megan Houston. You might find the book. It's still around. How to Be Useful. It was a great graduation book, and the only problem was the smart Alex who were marketing it in New York City put a rotten cover on it, so it didn't go as well as it should. But the title of the book is great. The subtitle is not. The cover is terrible, but it's a great book. Megan Houston. How to Be Useful. Oh, you will learn a lot. Even us old guys will learn a lot. So you need to know that business is about Bob Dylan. It's also about Bugs Bunny. That's right, Bugs Bunny. Now, what could that be? Well, let's just take a little 20-second break and think about that. Then come back, and I'll tell you why you not only need a Bob Dylan character, you need a Bugs Bunny character. Because times are loony, and you better have somebody in the loony times who will help you. And that's Bugs Bunny. I'm Stan Houston. This is RadioEdge77 at gmail.com, RadioEdge77 at gmail.com. Radio on the Edge, personal on-demand radio, coming your way from Studio One on Route 77 in Tucson, Arizona. Reach out and touch. We can help you. Ask us how, and let's see if we can. We'll be back just a few seconds, and we'll be talking about the rabbit factor.
Come and listen in to a radio station where the mighty hosts of heaven sing. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. If you want to hear the songs of Zion coming from the land of endless spring, get in touch with God. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
Okay, we're back. Just 5 to 6 seconds. You learn more here in 20 minutes by accident than most places by design, and that's kind of a cute little clever phrase, but it's not original. I stole it. I stole it from a guy named Joe, and if he hears it, he knows who he is, but I liked it. You'll learn more here by accident than most places by design. Hopefully you'll have a little fun. Remember, we're in the business of making Jesus smile. And I want to really hit that right now. We're going to be involved in helping people survive in their business and thrive in their business. We're also going to be involved in finding the good causes, that when we contribute to these causes, when we do these things, as you do it unto the least of these, you do it to me. So the beggar on the street, when you help them out, that's a Jesus man. He said, I always say, I would like to live and speak and be in such a way that when Jesus sees me doing my deal, he'll smile. He'll give me that smile. That's what I look forward to. Doesn't have to say anything. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. I don't need to hear that. I just want him to smile. Just smile. Bugs Bunny makes me smile. For years I have taught that everybody needs a Bugs Bunny in their business. And you know what he was all about. He's a little bit of a smart aleck rabbit who kind of hangs around, and when things are going on, you know what he does. He leans back and kind of in a snide way, or maybe an inquisitive way, or a chuckling way, or I've got you way, he says, "What's up, Doc?" What's up, Doc? Everybody needs a Bugs. It may be somebody like me who you pay money to, or somebody in your business or your friendship factor, in your church or your community, someone who cares enough about you because you are always going to be in alligator. You are always going to be up to your ears. It is always going to... Someone went, "Well, Stan, I'd like to talk to you when things settle down a bit." And I said, "Well, goodbye." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'll never see you again." What do you mean when things settle down a bit? They're never going to settle down. So I won't see you again. Blessings on you. He got the point. Won't settle down. Never settle down. In fact, they just get faster and more complicated. And in all of that, it's good for someone to say, why are we doing this? What's up? What's going on? What's happened in the marketplace? It's nice sometimes, as I used to say, go out into the mall, and particularly if you've got some businesses there, and just say to people, try and find out what people are thinking, what they're buying, what they're not buying. Look around, ask questions, see how they're responding to all of that stimuli and all that stuff out there. And then let's come back and after a half day out of the office, let's come back, have a nice little dinner, and let's give the Bugs Bunny report. Let's find out what's up, Doc. What's going on? Let's take a little time out. Let's take a Sabbath break from the business and see if, with some prayers and some thoughts and some social research, we can get a better view of what's going on in our business, what's really up, and what do we need to change, what do we need to keep doing, what do we need to get better at. Don't make this some big formal SWOT analysis where you particularly have to hire some high-priced consultant like me. You can do it on your own. Maybe I could help you set it up. I've got some ideas for some videos that I could make that can help you do that. But do the Bugs Bunny work on your own. So, Bob Dylan. Hey, baby. Who you serving, and what you serving, what you got, and what you giving, and who you giving it to, and should you change? You got to serve somebody. Who you serving? Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? What's going on? What do we need to change? What, by God's grace, do we have to do, and do it differently? Just something to think about. I'm Stan Houston. This is Radio on the Edge. This is the Jesus Entrepreneur. This is TCEN Global. 20 minutes to help you think about your life and your business. Just a final word, and we'll be right back. I love that little theme kind of from the Last of the Mohicans. It just kind of sets me up to say, hey, now what are you going to do about it? You've heard this. There's been some ideas. I've worked really hard to put this little thought piece together today. And I work hard every day to hopefully know that when you're done with my program, you're 20 minutes closer to being dead, so I better make it worthwhile. That's right. It's all true for all of us. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. If I can help you once again, I'd love to have that opportunity. RadioEdge77 at gmail.com. RadioEdge77 at gmail.com. I'm Stan. I've got a whole bunch of people on our TCEN Global team, and they're all over the world, and they have skills and opportunities and ways that they can help you build an entrepreneurial business, build it in such a way that it will honor the Lord Jesus Christ, and it will make it smile. May He smile on you. Best and blessings. Smiles to you. And bye for now.